You're listening to episode 151 of the Leadway Wealth Builders podcast. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and in today's episode, I have a great interview with Eric Bledsoe. He wholesales in the Charlotte market, and he details his story from when he was working his W-2 job, from quitting, starting in wholesaling, and all the way through where he is now. So get out your notebooks if you're interested in wholesaling, because he gives you little details on how he started and how you can too. So before we hop into the interview, go follow me at chris.rickenball on TikTok and Instagram. That's where I post daily about what I'm doing, what I'm learning, and you can follow along there. If you're listening to this podcast already, thank you so much. Go ahead and leave a like and a review so that we can keep growing this podcast, helping other people, trying to get closer to financial freedom. So let's hop into the interview. All right, Eric Bledsoe, welcome to the Leadway Wealth Builders podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I followed your podcast to a little bit and then finally got to meet you at one of the real estate meetups, and I thought, man, this we kind of started talking about podcasts, and I'm like, man, we should definitely get you on because I've seen your name out and about, and that's Alpha Bravo, but I'll let you do the introduction for yourself. So, who are you and what do you do and where are you at now?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, my name is Eric Bledsoe. I'm a co-owner of Alpha Bravo Properties with Freddie Albin. He's my business partner. We started Alpha Bravo a little over 4 years ago now. We started out primarily just wholesaling real estate. Now we've kind of graduated into doing more fix and flips. We're actually going to jump into our first new construction as well. So we're kind of just taking steps to add on different avenues and different exit strategies in our business. We've done a lot of creative financing as well, some owner financing subject to things like that. But yeah, primarily wholesaling, that was our bread and butter, and we still do that a lot to this day. But now it's more about just taking more of those properties down ourselves and trying to hold on to them or find different exit strategies that can give us a little more revenue in the end.
Gotcha. Now, how has it changed so much from when you got started to compared to where the market and Charlotte is now?
Yeah, so I mean it's definitely changed a lot. I mean, we got started right before that was whenever interest rates were 3%. I mean, houses were flying off the shelves, hedge funds were buying up a lot of properties. And so that was actually when we got started into it. So we kind of got started at a peak, which we realized that later on. So we got started. We actually sold a couple of deals to hedge funds, which gave us a pretty good amount of cash in our reserves to be able to kind of take the next step. I was able to quit my job, and we were able to kind of go all in on it. Literally, probably 2 months after I quit my job, that's whenever interest rates spiked up to 7%. And basically, for the most part, everything kind of halted just in the real estate industry. And so that was a big shock to us. I just quit my job. We were trying to do whatever we could to make ends meet. We just kind of stuck through it. We were able to get through that and then kind of ride it back up and keep building out our marketing channels, keep growing in that different avenues there. And then that led us to where we are now. And so yeah, it's been a bumpy ride just over the last couple of years, but I think overall, I mean, it's made us stronger business men, has made us a better company. We already know what it's like to kind of go through some big dips and swings, which for almost any real estate professional, like there's always going to be ups and downs. That's just kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to real estate in general. Some things are just kind of unpredictable when it comes to markets and whatnot. But we just got to do whatever we can to kind of stay on top of that. But more importantly, just be able to adjust whenever we need to.
Yeah, I definitely feel that because I've only been in it for the past year now, and getting into it, like trying to just even get that first fix and flip. It's like, okay, now you do that. Now it's like I did 8 in the first year, and I'm starting to realize, oh, the numbers were a little bit off, and that was a little bit of the partnership that's ending currently. So it's like now I got to dig myself out of that hole, and what I'm looking at is like, yeah, it's a little bit more difficult right now, and I'm hearing that from all the other real estate investors, and then you said recently after quitting your job, that's when the market kind of dramatically changed. But that leads me into, how did you get started in real estate and what was that push to start? And I guess where were you working at before you got jumped into it full time?
Yeah, so before I got into real estate, I was a project manager for a geotechnical construction company. So we did like rock slide and landslide repairs and stuff like that. I kind of I was very interested. So I actually graduated NC State with a geology degree, and I
Oh,
kind of
cool.
that avenue of like geotechnical engineering and stuff like that. So I have a totally different background than real estate, but I actually had a pretty successful career for the 6 years that I worked right out of college. I was able to kind of work my way up pretty quickly into a fast growing company and just learned a lot within those 6 years. But at the end of the day, I just wasn't fulfilled. I wanted to, do something my own, have something under my name. I was working 70, 80 hours a week for this company, making good money. Like I was able to pay off my student loans within the first year of working there. Like it was, I can't say enough about how lucky I was to have that coming right out of college. But after about 6 years of working there, I was like, man, this is great, but like, I just don't have the fulfillment. Like, I'm working all this, to build someone else's dream and not mine. Um, so I kind of had like a little mini crisis, I guess, and just kind of exploring different ways I can make money on my own. I looked into drop shipping. I looked into the whole trading stocks and crypto and real estate, and I was doing all these different things, trying to explore all these different options. But I realized I wasn't really going anywhere with any of it. I was just just learning and trying different stuff, and so eventually I said, you know what, I'm going to drop everything. I'm going to go all in on real estate. And initially, with my previous career, I bought a couple rental properties, which was the best thing I've ever done. I bought two back whenever interest rates were around 3%. And that has helped me tremendously just be able to get some cash flow coming in. And then I actually ended up um, wrapping those and selling those on owner finance notes for a lot
Oh, cool.
rates later on down the road. But but yeah, so in the end, I just wanted to do something of my own. Real estate just kind of checked a lot of boxes that I could like. I think I could do this. It seems really interesting. I was obsessed with different books and podcasts and things like that at the time. So yeah, eventually was once I got a couple big deals done with the wholesaling part, that gave me enough confidence to say, you know what, I'm gonna go all in.
And then I'm guessing all the books and podcasts. Was it Bigger Pockets?
Oh yeah, I
Oh
was
yeah.
obsessed with bigger pockets. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I got started, books and podcasts. I'm like, oh, I want to buy the rental property. So it sounds kind of like you were on that same track. And then when did you decide where, you're like, all right, I gotta completely be out of this job? Was it like a certain day, or you just kind of start eventually looking for other avenues and then landed on real estate?
Yeah, I think I just kind of just started looking at other avenues because
Okay.
I think it, I think everyone kind of goes through cycles where they get really excited about something, they kind of ride that to a peak, and then they're like, you know what, I need to change. And that happened to me with that career, and that's kind of happened to me with real estate now. But what I've come to realize is that you have to be able to get past that peak in order to really see the success. And because most people they ride it until they're like, oh, I'm tired of this, let's try something else. And then it's a cycle, they start all over again, and they end up staying in this loop pretty much until they die.
Hmm.
But people who are very successful, the ones that can ride it up, survive those dips, survive those, man, this isn't really what I want to do anymore, or whatever. But they can survive that, get used to getting good at that, and then that's whenever they're able to really be able to see on the other side the success that comes with that stuff. Um, but yeah, I think that I kind of hit that peak with my career, and I was like, you know what, this isn't something to where I want to continue working this much. It was a lot of travel involved. So if I wanted to have a family, that I had to take that into account. A lot of people I worked with were older than me. There was one guy in particular that had the same job as me. He was in his late 40s, and he had a kid in high school and a kid in middle school. And all the time he would tell me like, man, like I have to miss my kid's baseball game or whatever. And like you hear that. And for me being 24, 25, thinking like, man, I didn't want to be in that position and have to say I have to miss my family's events and things like that because of work. I wanted something where I can kind of have a little more flexible schedule. Um, and I mean, he made a lot of money doing what he did. He was great at what he did, but there's sacrifices involved with anything. That for me wasn't a sacrifice that I wanted to make. I wanted to be able to kind of hopefully build my wealth first and have the flexibility of doing what I wanted to do, and then have a family and be able to kind of have that, have that stuff already kind of taken care of.
Yeah, I completely agree that that's what I was thinking in so I was working in racing for a little bit and it was super, once we would travel, like we'd go out on the road for 6 weeks straight. And then, the couple weeks to about a month before that, you're in the office early, out late. And that's something I was thinking of in college. I'm like, man, if I want to have any time, I got to kind of figure out something on the side if I get let go. So that was the direction, you know, sounds like me and you were thinking the same direction because I'm 25 now and I'm, just trying to get in there. We're trying to figure it out. So it's really cool to see other people, from that age thinking the same thing because for me, it's hard to even talk to other 25-year-olds. I can't stand them. So it's cool to think and know that other people that age were thinking like that. And I think that's why me and you connect a little bit better. But I wanted to move into, kind of what this main strategy was. How, after buying a couple rental properties, deciding to quit your job, reading the books, how did you focus the main strategy on wholesaling before you moved to anything else?
Yeah, so it kind of hit me because I bought two properties within like 6 months. And I was cash flowing at the time when well, they were actually both burrs, so like I renovated
Okay.
them and rented them out. But I was cash flowing about 200 or 300 bucks each after everything was said and done. But I realized I was like, man, it's going to take a lot of properties for me to actually be able to quit my job and be able to live, comfortably. And I was like, man, there's got to be a quicker way. So that's whenever I kind of stumbled upon wholesaling. I think it was either an episode of Bigger Pockets or something that kind of led me into like kind of going down that rabbit hole of what was wholesaling. I remember, I mean, one of the first videos I watched was like Max Maxwell, and back whenever he was real big, and just kind of, I was like, man, like this seems kind of too good to be true almost. And I had at the time I was living with one of my good friends, and he was kind of interested in it as well. So we kind of JV'd together and was like kind of trying to figure it out. We ended up getting a deal under contract, but due to a couple of things, though, like some big title issues and stuff, we couldn't end up closing on it. But that was kind of like my first taste of like, man, like I almost had it. Like I don't like there was if we were to able to complete that sell, it would have been like a 20 or $30,000 spread just off our first deal. And I was like, dude, we were right there. Um, and that was kind of enough for my friend at the time. He was like, I'm not really interested in this. Like that was very stressful just to do all this work and then not end up even getting anything from it. But I kind of just kept going, kept kind of pursuing that on my own. And I originally was just doing like bandit signs and just like some low level marketing, driving for dollars. And actually got my first deal under contract through a bandit sign. And it was a trailer that I bought it for 23,000 and ended up wholesaling it for like 39. And
Okay, nice.
and so I kind of saw like the proof in the concept, like, okay, I just made 13 grand, or 16 grand off of, this first deal. And I was like, man, like if I can just reproduce this, but just scale it out, I could create a business off of this. So that was my thing was like, yeah, you can do it on your own and just kind of be like a solopreneur. But I was like, I kind of want a business around this model and around real estate model in general, the real estate model in general. That way, like I'm not having to do all the work myself. So I went on this basically for a whole year and a half. I was going to every single real estate meetup I could in Charlotte, just trying to meet people and learn more. And I really wanted to find a business partner because I knew my strengths and they were talking to people, they were negotiating, they were closing deals. But when it came to the tech side and the integrator role of of the business, that just wasn't a strong suit of mine. Even though I could do a little bit here and there, like I knew I needed someone that was strong in that, in that realm to be able to actually build a business off of. So and then that's how I actually came across Freddie, my business partner. I met him at a real estate meetup, local here in Charlotte. We kind of just hit it off, and 4.5 years later, we're still working together. So
Yeah, that's interesting to see how you had that vision from the beginning. It's like, man, if I did this one, it's, how can I multiply that? And did you see those little things right in the beginning to where, if I wanted to do instead of one of these a month, how would I do four or how would I do five? Is that where your mindset was right in the beginning, or did it take, three, four, five deals to see, you know, oh, this could be something bigger if I find that partner?
I think it definitely took a first couple of deals because I realized how much time and effort I was putting into it just to get that return. Like I was cold calling a lot, driving for dollars a lot. Like I started off doing all the marketing strategies myself before I was end up hiring someone else to do these things. Um, and I realized pretty early on after the first couple of deals, I was like, man, like this is a grind. And it's a worthwhile grind, but if I want to look at this as for longevity, then this is not the way. Like I've got to find a better way to do this. And the whole goal of me trying to even get into real estate or anything was financial freedom. I mean that is the biggest thing that I think most people try to seek whenever they start investing in real estate or trying to do trade stocks for a living or do drop shipping for a living or whatever that thing is. Most people eventually I just want to be able to have my time to do whatever I want to do and not have to work. I mean, that's like the dream for everybody. Um, so I just kind of looked later on, 5, 10 years down the road, I was like, this is not a way for me to be financially free. It's a way for me to be self-employed and I can be my own boss and have my own hours, but it's not a way for me to be able to say, I'm going to, go to, South America for a month, see y'all later. Like, no, I have to work. I still have to continue to work every week. So I just wanted to put a business or something in place to where I'm kind of the one managing the pieces and making the higher level decisions and growing and scaling a business, while I have people that are helping me grow this this thing, and I can have my time. Well, one day I'm not there yet, but one day, and at that point, it would be worth it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's so. After you kind of have that realization, you start looking for your partner, you find Freddie, and then, how is the marketing in your business changed with working with Freddie? Like you're probably still doing some bandit signs, but how has that marketing changed? And then how has the deal flow changed since then?
Yeah. So we actually don't do bandit signs anymore.
Oh, really?
We primarily were cold calling and texting for majority of our deals. We grew a decent sized team out, um, and was doing about 2 to 3 deals a month with just the cold calling and SMS. And then we actually stopped that cold turkey and then went all in on PPC and Facebook ads and SEO. And we saw a lot of success with that. However, we got to doing probably like 6 or 7 deals a month from doing that. However, because there was some shifts that we did internally within our own marketing, we actually started marketing under a different domain and some other things. That actually took a big hit, and now we've went back and revamped our cold calling, SMS, and then we're adding back on the PPC, SEO, and Facebook ads. So what we've realized is that you have to have a lot of different marketing channels. You have to have inbound marketing and outbound marketing kind of working simultaneously because there will be periods of time when outbound marketing will be more efficient than inbound marketing or vice versa. And so if you kind of build the basics of all of them, then you can kind of look at, okay, we're getting a good return on this right now. Let's double down on this. And then once that starts diminishing, okay, where else are we going to go return? Okay, cold calling is now, we had a big boost in cold calling this month. Let's double down on this. Like, so you have different pieces you can kind of maneuver and figure out, okay, which one is working best at this time period? Where's your best ROI coming from? And you kind of see it as a from a a larger standpoint and be able to make those decisions as a business owner instead of just kind of putting your head down and just cold calling or just PPC or whatever, because you have to have that variety of marketing. Because if you put all your eggs in one basket, if it's not 100% airtight, which most people aren't, then you're going to have issues with that with those marketing channels. And so you gotta have multiple marketing channels going at the same time.
Gotcha. That makes sense because where I'm at in my business is, we bought some flips and all of a sudden I realized it's like, hey, there's no money coming in the door. So I got to start looking at, oh, well, what's a way to do that? And that's wholesaling. And one of the questions on my list was how do you get into wholesaling? But for the people listening, listening to Eric's story is, you know, here's how I found it. Well, you pretty much went all the way through. Hey, here's how I found real estate. Here's how I started in real estate. Here's how I met my partner, and here's how I'm growing the business. So, I was just going to completely skip that question because you answered it perfectly. And is that pretty much where you're at today now? Is exactly what you said you're doing in your business today?
Yeah, I mean, right now we've revamped cold calling, SMS. We have a pretty good team of all virtual assistants that are kind of managing that. And then we're literally just now getting back into PPC, SEO, and Facebook ads to build those channels back up as well. Um, so yeah, we're going to be having basically 5 different marketing channels going and here within the next couple of weeks and kind of get back to having a good baseline of all of our marketing channels going at the same time instead of just all our eggs in one basket.
Gotcha. Interesting. Do you see it as kind of like a big roller coaster on the marketing? Something's really working today, something's not working. Is that about accurate to where it's just this kind of big roller coaster and you're either chasing it or trying to get ahead of it?
Yes, only so for different reasons though. Like, I mean, one, you do have to take into account the real estate market in general. Um, and so you have to be able to stay on top of, what are certain areas, certain different marketing channels may work better than others in certain areas, depending on the market. And then also it's real estate is more of a seasonal business. So like just by the nature of it, we tend to have better months during the spring through fall versus wintertime. Wintertime usually slows down a little bit. People don't really want to move. We actually saw a big shift during the presidential election. People are uncertain whether, if they sell this house, where they're going to move to, what's going to happen. So we actually saw a little bit of a slowdown during the presidential election recently. Um, so it's just something to where I would say you don't get comfortable with whatever marketing channel you're doing. If it's working well now, double down on it, squeeze that lemon as much as you can. However, don't get comfortable because all it takes is for one shift to happen in the market, and there goes that marketing channel. Or new regulations come into play. There's new regulations all the time with SMS and cold calling. And so you just cannot get comfortable with the marketing. You have to always be on top of it, squeeze as much juice as you can out of it, but then always be able to shift whenever need be.
Gotcha. So, you brought up the new laws against texting and cold calling, but there is a new law coming out in North Carolina. I'm not sure if it's been passed yet, pretty much outlawing wholesaling. So how are you navigating that and, the SMS and cold calling regulations that are being put in?
Yeah, so it hasn't taken effect yet, and I don't even think it's been passed yet. I think it was passed by the House, but needs to be passed by the Senate or something like that. But if that bill was to get passed, it would be going into effect October 1st of this year. And the main things that it's basically that it would kind of limit is one, you would have to have some type of real estate brokerage license in order to wholesale. And so that would either, so the solution to that would either be one, join a brokerage that's already doing wholesaling and things like that. There's several out there that are, not several, a lot of them are trying to do more of that. Um, or get your own license, open up your own brokerage and do that. So that's one way to get around it. The other thing was it would give you give the seller 30 days in order to basically back out of the agreement for any reason, which that one didn't make sense to me because even just on a normal real estate transaction, like we go through a realtor into the whole traditional route. I mean, there's usually due diligences, that are put down, earnest money put down, things like that. So I'm not sure how that would affect all of that. But
That, that was probably my biggest question through all of it because say, wholesalers, it could be one of the strategies to put down a larger earnest money deposit. Say you've just gave this person 10 grand, they could back out tomorrow, still with your contract and still try and shop at the other people.
right, I think it would. I mean, it would make sense to me, like if you do put any kind of earnest money or due diligence down, and that person backs out. I don't think it just would not make any sense for them to just be able to keep that money. I think that they would be saying, okay, I think what they're trying to say is within that 30-day period, they do have the ability to back out, but if there was any kind of due diligence or earnest money put down, that money would be refunded. I think that is I think what they're trying to do there. I don't think they would not put any kind of clause in it that says, yeah, you can put due diligence down, but then I can just back out at any time and just keep that money. That I don't think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're just trying to look out for the seller's best interest to say, okay, I think especially when it comes to wholesaling, unfortunately, because it's a low barrier to entry, there's a lot of bad eggs that come out of it because they see it as a way to get rich quick, maybe make a quick couple bucks, and they don't think about how it affects the sellers. And so I'm actually a fan of more regulation in this industry because it'll weed a lot of that out and it'll leave the big players, the ones that are actually serious about it, left and they can actually run their business how they should. So I'm actually for regulations on it. I've heard too many stories. I talk to sellers all day, every day, and all they say is, "Oh, well, this and so, had it under contract and they backed out last minute, left me in a bind," and like there's just so many different things that can go wrong. And these wholesalers, especially the young ones that don't really know what they're doing, they cause a lot of issues in the industry. So they're the reason why these laws are trying to be put in place because they're screwing people over left and right. So I'm for regulation, honestly. I think it can be a good business. We try to help people out. Like genuinely, our goal is to try to help that person out. Obviously, we do have to make a profit because we are a business, but we're very upfront, very transparent with our sellers. Say, hey, this is what we can offer. I don't even know if we're the best fit for you. Here's a better solution. We try to offer different solutions for them. But we try to run a respectable a business to where people are comfortable coming to us and not feel like they're just getting lowballed left and right and then back out of the contract. So overall, I'm actually a fan of the regulations.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear because I've heard, some different sides, but you see so many bad apples in the bunch. And I think it would be good to weed some of those people out for sure. A lot of the Facebook scams you see. I've showed up on a couple different appointments to walk a house, and there's been problems because it's been an out-of-state person, or they say, "Hey, I can close in 3 days," and I like that regulation coming in for sure. A little bit, but hopefully it's to where everybody can work together and it kind of gets the scam artists out of the way. But Eric, before I let you go here, so what do you have coming up here that you're excited about in business or real estate? I know you said you're starting to flip and do a little creative stuff. So, where are you guys going here in the near future that you're excited about?
Yeah, I'm super excited to add on our flipping and new construction that's kind of in our wheelhouse. I think it's going to make us more robust real estate investors, trying to get to see more of the business side of building a flipping company as well. And then also building a new construction company also. So those are two avenues that I think naturally just go with the wholesaling. The wholesaling, we're treating that as just that's our marketing, right? Like we want to be able to wholesale to ourselves. Like in a perfect world, we'd love to be able to take down every single property or land that we get under contract and be able to build or flip it ourselves. But what we're kind of doing is building the base with the wholesaling, generating some revenue from that, and getting that kind of running on its own. And then that way, me and Freddie can focus on the bigger fish, which is let's flip and we can make 3 times the profit, or let's build and make 4 or 5 times the profit, and actually build these other avenues into our business.
That makes sense. And yeah, that's definitely tips for me. This is all asking for a friend, since I'm new. So yeah, all really, really good information, Eric. Yeah, I appreciate you having or you being able to come on the show. Last question here. If somebody wants to work with you, get on your buyers list, or get in contact with you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so Instagram is great. We have an Instagram with Alpha Bravo NC. We're on TikTok. It's Instagram. I mean, Alpha Bravo Properties on Facebook. I mean, our social medias is actually a really good way to reach out to us. We check those daily, um, and that's where we post a lot of deals there. Our website, alphabravoproperties.org. You can always reach out to us from there also. But yeah, would love to connect with you guys on social medias, and we can get you guys on our buyers list or our investors list. We're always looking for investors to invest with us on new construction deals and also fix and flip deals. Or if you're just interested just in learning more about wholesaling or fix and flipping, the social media is a great place to be. So yeah, that's where you can locate us.
And if they want to listen to you and Freddie's podcast, what's the best way to get there?
Yeah, so it's just Alpha Bravo on YouTube. You type in Alpha Bravo Properties on YouTube, and you'll see mine and Freddie's ugly faces there, and interviewing some people there just around the Charlotte area. Just kind of what you're doing, Chris. It's more of a selfish thing, just kind of being able to learn and ask these more deeper questions, from these people that are doing the business, that are already successful in it, and just sharing their journey along the way.
Well, perfect, Eric. Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy Monday to hop on the podcast with us. But for everybody listening, that's all we got for you today. This has been Eric and Chris on the Leadway Wealth Builders podcast.